Matthew's message, September 23, 2014. With loving greetings from all souls at this station, this is Matthew. In addressing readers' most recent questions, we cite one that is the essence of all. Was Scotland's rejection of independence a setback for world progress? We don't see it that way. We see as progress that there was an election, that the citizens of Scotland could, and did, peaceably make their case for sovereignty. Although the outcome disappointed forward-looking Scots, their forceful call for independence made clear to the government of Britain that there must be changes in their relationship not only with the people of Scotland, but also of Wales and Ireland. For the moment it remains to be seen how quickly the proposed changes will come about and to what extent they will satisfy the citizens of those countries. In the longer term, governmentally imposed regulations, restrictions, penalties, and tax levies will cease everywhere. All of Earth's peoples will know their divinity in the oneness of all, their innate knowledge and powers as multidimensional beings, and everyone will respect the sanctity of everything within creation. We have been asked time and again why some off-planet sources give a time frame for the occurrence of one thing or another, and we do not. First, we urge you to be very discerning about channeled information, particularly announcements of Nasara or sudden wealth. And be aware that some information that purportedly is channeled actually is written and disseminated by individuals to intentionally misinform, discourage or frighten readers. Now then, one reason we aren't comfortable giving a time is the difficulty of putting into your linear construct something that exists in the continuum. We shall come back to that, but first we want to speak about our other reason because it is by far the more important. Your expectation of a specific happening sends forth positive energy that is tied to a certain time. If nothing significant is evident, then the energy turns into disillusionment, discouragement or even anger, and that vibratory downturn further delays the projected happening. That said, we happily tell you that the decade of delay in your society's advancement will end in your year 2017, a most propitious time frame indeed, with a celestial window similar to the one during the December 2012 solstice that eased Earth into fourth density. Your concept of time actually is energy in motion, and since Earth's ascension route is into successively higher, or lighter, energy planes, the few interim years will pass with increasing speed. And ever-heightening vibrations along the way will enable expanding realization of soul-level knowingness and powers of manifestation that you will heartily welcome. This departure from our usual reluctance to mention a time is only in small part because the planetary alignment in 2017 is a given. Much more so, beloved family, it's because your optimism and enthusiasm about Earth's future will counterbalance the negativity of mainstream media's reports on the Ebola epidemic, Ukraine, Afghanistan, Iraq's tenuous new government, the long-running Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and especially at this time, efforts to halt the advancement of ISIS forces in Syria. We aren't underestimating the seriousness of those situations by saying that the repetitious films and reports with dire-sounding outlook are evoking the fear and pessimism that keep the populace constrained in third-density mentality. For instance, the projected 3-year or longer effort to eliminate ISIS, it needn't take that long. And an Ebola epidemic that is out of control, it isn't. Despite media's loss of credibility to some degree, the vast majority of Earth's peoples believe expert assessments because they don't know what you do. They don't know that the circumstances they worry about would run their courses much more rapidly if positive energy streamers were propelling them. They don't know that today's mayhem is offering many millions the opportunity to complete third-density karma, attain balance and evolve. They don't know that they chose to be on Earth so they can participate in everything that is transpiring, or that the outcome will be Earth's golden age in full flourish. We aren't suggesting that you attempt to change anyone's mindset. The pace of growing in conscious and spiritual awareness is every soul's God-given right. It is that the light in your positive thoughts and feelings radiates out into the world, and hastens the ending of all fighting, hardships, and suffering. Light, love, is the key to peace, health, and prosperity. A reader who interpreted reference library in a previous message to be our knowing everything there is to know, asked why we attributed to colleagues in Nirvana what we stated about the Malaysian aircraft that was shot down in Ukraine. We did so because they were the source, and our knowledge base grows continuously. Some information comes from individuals in Nirvana who monitor happenings on Earth, and some from highly evolved souls in other spirit worlds, God, members of advanced civilizations, universal councils, and master teachers. We also derive information by observing Earth's energy field of potential, which reflects the collective consciousness of all her residents, people, animals, plants and the Devic kingdom, and we report the field's most significant activity at the time of our messages. But because every resident's thoughts, feelings and actions affect the ebb and flow of energy, a situation may change considerably before our subsequent message. Energy streamers influencing a situation may have strengthened and turned a possible outcome into a probable outcome. A situation that was developing into a probability may have reverted to a possibility because its streamers weakened. A surge of energy may have entered an area where movement had been barely perceptible. The intensifying momentum behind what had appeared to be a highly likely outcome may have fizzled completely because a strong burst of energy sideswiped it. Absolute certainties, predestined outcomes, are extremely rare, and Earth's ascension out of third density and continuing to her destination in fifth is among the very few exceptions to energy's vagaries. At the moment the energy field is rife with activity. New energy streamers are emerging, some are changing directions, some are gaining momentum, some are dwindling to mere wisps. And all of the continuous movement is maneuvered by your collective thoughts, feelings, and free will choices. This is why, even though the ultimate outcome of everything underway is known in the continuum because it is predestined, it isn't possible to pinpoint in linear time exactly when a specific happening will manifest. Occasionally a person's passing touches the heart of the world, and so it is with Robin Williams. Our colleagues in Nirvana told us that a throng of thousands gathered to greet this soul who had given pleasure to so many during his Earth lifetime, and we hastened to assure readers who wrote that they prayed he wouldn't be penalized for ending his life. He will not be. Let us speak first about entry into Nirvana. The soul is liberated from the etheric body and the psyche, which arrive in the same condition as when the person left physical lifetime. Robin's psyche was beset with such pervasive, painful depression that eventually it took control. He thought that only by ending his life could he escape the intolerable agony. His traumatized psyche needed to be healed, and this came with customized care and constant attention in one of Nirvana's specialty areas that can be likened to your hospital's ICUs. Our colleagues report that Robin's psychic healing was swift due to cellular patterning of lifetimes in advanced civilizations. He had completed all major contract provisions, and depression was not a contract choice. He is in the company of friends and family from his immediate past and previous lives, and he is joyously experiencing other wondrous aspects of life in Earth's spirit world. We add our own knowledge, that lighted beings throughout the universe honored this highly evolved soul who had chosen to be generous in spirit, energy, and resources, and by far exceeded even that extraordinarily grand measure. As for suicide's pertinence to all souls, I asked my mother to give you the information I gave her many years ago. The following is the suicide chapter in Matthew. Tell me about heaven. Matthew, are people who die by suicide treated differently from the others? Yes and no. They are given the same personal, loving reception as all other arrivals, and every effort is extended to assist in their healing and adjustment just as it is with all other traumatized souls who need customized treatment. However, they enter at a special treatment station because their traumas need a unique kind of maximum care. I know you have heard that people who take their own lives face a punishing form of spirit life, but instinctively you doubt this is so. You are right, it is not so. It isn't fair or reasonable to lump all suicides into one category with one exacting judgment for all to face up to. In some cases, the cause of suicide is severe body chemistry imbalance that impairs sound decision-making. In other cases, what you call insanity leads to suicide. Some people act out of extreme depression, perhaps due to loss of someone they considered vital to their lives, and depression takes over their rational thinking. Some take their lives on foolish dares, not believing the risk would result in death. Others act in despair of the moment rather than give the spirit time to be strengthened. Some end their lives to end intractable pain. None of those is more reason for harsh judgment than death attributed to heart failure or a broken neck. Some people in relatively sounder condition consciously decide to end their lives. For some, this is in total capitulation to a series of adverse events, sometimes to provide for their families and the only way they feel is left to them, insurance money. Other people conclude that they cannot deal with situations they find too difficult or unsavory. Perhaps their marital infidelity or financial or political corruption has been discovered, or they have been discredited by their peers. These calculated cases also are very sad because those people really don't wish to leave the whole of their earth life, only those aspects they see as so overwhelming that in their opinion, death is the only remedy. Whatever their reason, people who commit suicide review their Akashic records with the same self-assessment and next lifetime planning process as any other soul. It is true that they incur an accumulated lesson by having to repeat all the lessons they chose but didn't complete, but there is no punishment or heavy karma levied due to self-inflicted death. Intent, or motive, is the basis for all determinations of self-judgment, and those people need not judge themselves any more severely than any others in this realm. Thank you, Mother. Now then, readers in Europe have written concerns about the Muslim population in a number of their cities. Dear ones, they are not there to cause you unrest. They have responded to soul-level guidance to become acquainted with new geographic areas, cultures, and philosophies. And because adjusting to dramatic newness isn't an overnight feat, they're clinging to what is familiar. Their kinsmen, attire, and religious traditions is natural. They aren't the only ones choosing to migrate, but they may be the most obvious. And, just as in any population, some individuals behave badly, and long-time residents in the area may mistakenly ascribe that behavior to all persons in the new population. To readers who are endowing all Muslims with the same radical religious views as ISIS, or ISIL, we say, please don't. Some of you cited passages in the Quran that permit, even advocate killing your enemies. The Bible has a plethora of that same kind of material, and both books dreadfully distort the faith's original tenets. For instance, the biblical reference to born into sin, not to mention the claim that Jesus died to save sinners, is a grievous departure from ancient records of Jesus' teachings. He taught that sin is but an error in judgment, and the only error is interfering with the growth of the soul, one's own or another's. The ingredient of every soul is the pure love energy essence of Creator, and this is the makeup of all newborns. When individuals are indoctrinated from infancy onward in hatred, vengeance, and killing in the name of a religion, they are drawn to groups like ISIS. Thus, even though that militant force may think it is acting upon religious principles, it is not. It is acting out the result of minds inculcated with the right and responsibility to brutally defend and promulgate their beliefs, however in error those are. It was much the same with Christianity. Consider the Inquisition, the Crusades, the persecution of indigenous peoples in Latin America by the Catholic conquistadors. Later, in the land that became the United States, Christians annihilated bison herds to deprive the native population of their source of sustenance, and they reduced that population by massacres and disease. Beloved family, all of your religions that began in the purity of spiritual truths departed from their beginnings to some extent, and the greatest deviations are in Islam and Christianity. Most karmic lessons incurred by generation after generation stemmed from what was done in the name of religion, the most divisive, destructive aspect of life on earth. The process of world transformation and spiritual renewal is bringing to an end what long ages ago the darkness imposed upon hearts and minds. Fear or scorn whatever is different, destroy what you fear, disrespect and discriminate against differences you deem inferior. To ensure that this would take firm hold within humankind, the darkness implanted the idea of labels to denote differences. Thus society came to regard, and often judge, individuals in accordance with their religious, national, cultural, ethnic, political, governmental, ideological, racial, professional, traditional, financial, or social status. We call you light workers. Is that not also a label that designates a difference from those who are not? It is, but never is the intention separateness from other souls, much less elevation above any. Light worker is knowing who you are, an inseparable part of God and all other souls, and what you are doing, sending forth the light that is freeing Earth's peoples from those divisive constraints so that everyone can live together peacefully, respectfully, cooperatively and harmoniously. All souls on the planet will be living within the light, wherein labels have no place. With unconditional love, we are at your side all along your ascension pathway. Love and peace. Channeled by Suzanne Ward. MatthewBooks.com